My name is Maria Torres, and I am the CEO of Galaxy International Pageant, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
I have Maria Torres, who's CEO of Galaxy International Galaxy Pageants, and she is live. Well, why don't you tell everyone, Maria, where you're from? Because this is quite a special place that you're in.
Oh, I am live from my closet / beauty room.
And it's not just a one-room closet. It's got two rooms.
Yes, it does.
I'm
a pageant girl. What do you expect?
I have never seen your closet looks nicer than my house. just out of it. And guys, those of you who are tuning in, a lot of you have tuned in. So make sure you have any questions, put them in the comments and I will get them to Maria. And if I don't see your question, then just put it again and I'll get them to Maria. But Maria, why don't we start with how you got involved in pageants to begin with?
Well, I was about 16 years old and my mother decided to enter me in a pageant without asking. And it was it was the Miss Teen USA system, actually.
Wow.
And it was for the state of Massachusetts, which is where I was raised. I was born in New York, but raised in Massachusetts. So normally my hometown, I still consider it Massachusetts. Right. And I had never modeled before. I had never been on stage. I had no idea why my mother decided to sign me up for a pageant. I was petrified of people. I was very much an introvert. And I did it. And the first time I competed, it was its third year in existence for the Teen USA system. And there were 109 contestants for the state of Massachusetts. Wow. And I made top 20 and won best costume. And that was it. I got bit by the bug. The following year, I competed again and I ended up winning Massachusetts Teen USA 1985.
Wow.
Long time ago. And I competed at Miss Teen USA and it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had as a teenager. It was a lot of fun and it was amazing. And that was it. I've been doing it almost ever since.
Did your mum ever tell you why she decided to enter you without you asking? And I got to say, you're not the first pageant queen I've heard say that. I think there's another two have said their mothers just entered them without asking them. So did your mum ever say why she entered you?
No, I don't think so. And if she did, I remember. She did tell me after I freaked out. She said, I think it would be really fun for you to do it. So I said, okay, I did. And let me just tell you, I was 16 at the time, so you don't tell your mother no, especially if you're a Latina.
Or you get a big slap.
But I will tell you that at the age of 22, I got a call at work. Living a state away, I got a call from work because my mother entered me into another competition, which was a televised competition on Univision. That they've got my application for spokesmodel competition, and I'm like, "Oh, I think you have the wrong person." They're like, "No, it's your dress, blah." And I was like,
"Thanks, Mom."
Mother. Yeah. So, But funny enough, I ended up winning that competition also.
So this is actually working quite well.
My mother, I should just let her enter me in all these contests.
She sounds like the perfect agent. She picks the ones that you win them all. You don't have to do anything. You're entered in everything. Maria, I just need to ask, you said that you were an introvert and then you sort of gave me a funny look. Is that to say that most people who know you now would never have guessed that you were an introvert back then?
Never ever.
Because you certainly don't seem like the typical introvert to me right now.
Not at all. Not at all.
That is an amazing story. Let me just check the comments. Everyone's saying we can hear. Karen Watts has said, love your closet, especially the mirror that looks like you were wearing a crown. Oh, okay.
Oh, this one.
Oh.
This is my full-length mirror. So I think this looks like a crown.
Wow, jeez. Guys, if you have any questions, let Maria know. We've had I don't know if you know all these people, but I'll go through quickly. Ariana Tipswood has said Best Director. Danielle Latimer has said Big Up Massachusetts. Deanna Silva has said Hi, Maria. Lauren Parkinson, who I've interviewed. Mama. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not what I expect a Welsh girl to say. Mama. Deanna Silva has said hello. Lauren Parkinson has also said loving the hair, Maria.
Oh, thanks. They're not used to my curly hair. So living in Texas, it gets hot. It's tiring, but yeah.
Oh, I can tell you, I will take the Texan heat right now because it's freezing and raining in Sydney. But Maria, let me ask you, how did you come to be the director of and the CEO of Galaxy? Because that's probably the pageant here in Australia, anyway, that I've had the most to deal with, most to do with. And one of my very good friends, Alicia, won the Miss here in Australia after, I think, 4 attempts. And that was her life goal, really. She's put so much hard work into it. But how did you come to be the CEO?
Actually, a friend of mine started the Galaxy Pageant. Her name is Dr. Lori Sikorsky, well, Lori Oliver now. And I had already had my system, which was Miss Belleza Latina. And we kind of used each other as sounding boards. She wanted to get some advice from me because I already had started a national system. So the first year that she had hers, I actually went as a spectator, as a judge, because my Miss Belleza Latina was one of the judges as well. The second year, I went as a spectator. The third year, I competed and ended up winning Mrs. Galaxy.
Have you ever entered a pageant that you haven't won apart from the very first one?
There's been plenty that I've not won. And then during my reign, Lori was going through some personal things, and she gave me a call and said, "Hey, I know you're giving up your title this year, but I have a question." And she asked me if I would like to take over Galaxy, and I just about fell over. And she literally said to me, "If you don't take over when you give up your title, I will be shutting it down."
Right.
So I was like, no, wait. So I discussed it with my husband, and we knew that it was going to be a big undertaking. We were used to Belleza Latina, which was, on an international scale, was still a small system because my target market is strictly Latinas.
Yeah.
With Galaxy, it's just open to everyone and internationally. So after discussing it, we said, sure, we did it, and I've not regretted it once since.
How long have you? When was that, Maria?
2005.
2005. So you've had it, almost 15 years. Right. I'm just going to go back to the comments because we're getting lots of comments and I don't want to miss them. Lindsay Nicole Gilmore has said, hi. Karina Luna has said, everything in Texas is bigger. #closet goals. Dianeris has said, love you.
Dianeris. Yes, she's from Puerto Rico.
Oops. Give me a second. Leah Wright has said, hi, Maria from Scotland. Wow, we've got people tuning in from everywhere. Megan Goldberg has said, hey, Maria. Tisha has said, hi from Nashville. Lauren Parkinson. Oh, here we go. Question. So, Maria, my question for you is, how can we apply for Belleza Latina?
Lauren, I swear, my little Welshie, she literally did a 23andMe DNA test to see if there was any Latina in her because she was determined to make me let her compete. But she's too funny.
I gotta say, Lauren doesn't really look like she has much Latina in her.
Well, she certainly moves like a Latina. I will give her that.
I've seen some of her videos of dancing, so yes, absolutely. Deanna has said, Maria is one of the most amazing directors I've ever had the privilege of working with. And I'm just going to, there's a lot, you can read these back later, Maria. There are a lot of people saying how amazing you are, which is fantastic. And it's one of the reasons for my selfish reasons, I wanted to interview you because you are the only director I've really seen on social media that everyone is saying they love you, and you are obviously really well respected. And I'm sad to say, in a way, that I've not really seen that from any of the other international directors. That's one of the reasons I wanted to interview you. Actually, let me just, before I get to the questions, guys, if you have questions I forget, leave them in the comments. But I do want to ask Maria, why do these people love you so much? Because I know directors that are not loved, they may be feared or hated, and they've got to sort of say, the girls have to say they love them because that's what you got to do. But why are there so many people? Obviously, you're well respected and well loved. Do you know why that is?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my fair share of haters out there. But I would have to say that the main reason is because I'm a very down-to-earth individual. With me, pretty much what you see is what you get. And I don't like to be fake. I am, I'm honest to a fault sometimes. And, but I run my system more like a family. And I know that a lot of other systems say that.
Exactly.
But with me, and I think it's also part of just my culture in general, that's just how Latinas are. We kiss everyone hello. We're just very welcoming. We hug you. We call you family almost instantly. And that is something that I have carried over into the pageant world. And there came a time where my husband did tell me, you need to stop being these girls' friends because it's just not working. It's getting to a point where girls were accusing me of having favoritism. Yeah. They were accusing me of fixing a pageant because they saw me talk to one girl. They saw me laugh more with one other girl. They saw me. And it was like, so I actually removed myself, Adrian, a couple of years. I would not go to the pajama party. I kind of just kept my distance. I would not take, just call. I would tell the hotel to block my phone because I just did not want that pressure. But then I was miserable. I'm like, this isn't me. This is not me. I'm the person that girls can come up to and talk to. And, and that's one of the things that I've been told by a lot of girls is I've never met a director that I can actually go up to at internationals and speak with or have a question. And I make myself available to my girls. And that's just the way that it is. And, with my queens, it just goes even to another level with my queens. I love my girls, and I always say this at orientation. I tell the delegates, you are competing for a title, yes, but if you don't want to be part of this family, don't try hard to win because this is a family. You're going to be part of this family. And if you don't want to partake in this family, just try not really hard because we're not gonna click very well. It is what it is. And I'm not looking for your typical, pageant girl and pageant Patty and, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm looking for girls with heart, with passion, with commitment, and just good old fashioned, a good heart. And I think that that's what I convey to the girls, and I show that, and I welcome them wholeheartedly. And it translates into, being a regular person.
Yeah, I love that. Maria, when you do decide, if you ever decide to step away from pageantry, how would you like to be remembered in terms of your legacy and what you left behind for the girls? How would you like to be remembered?
Well, my first system, which is Belleza Latina, that legacy there that I that I left, or that I would be leaving with that system, is that I was the first pageant in the United States that accepted single mothers.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2000, single mothers participating in pageants was not a thing. MS division, that was not, a thing. You were either married, a miss, or a teen.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. If you were a single mother, there was no room for you in pageantry. It was just considered taboo.
Wow.
You were considered a bad example. And the reason I know this is because I became a single mother at 23, and I was no longer able to compete in pageants. Right. And I felt that that was unfair. And I said, one day I will change that, because I don't think I should be considered a bad example because I chose to have my child.
Absolutely.
And so that, to me, that would be one of my legacies in pageantry that I would be leaving behind, is with Belleza Latina, which was the first pageant, not just Latina pageant, the first pageant in the U.S. to accept single mothers. As far as with Galaxy, I would just like to be remembered for just being a good director, a good, loving, and honest, committed director. And that's it.
It sounds, I mean, I had no idea about what you said about the single mothers. That's absolutely amazing. And like, kudos to you. And when you say that you want to be remembered as a good director, it sounds so simple. It's not that simple at all. I mean, if you can just achieve that, I think in the pageantry world, that's an absolutely amazing feat. Let's just go to the questions for a second, guys. I apologize, I haven't been reading your questions because I've been busy talking to Maria, but I'm going to go through the questions now. If you have any, please put them below. I'm just going to pick out some of the comments here, Maria, because you've had a lot of people comment. So Fernanda Pena, pardon my pronunciation. What is the best part about being an international director?
Oh my gosh. The best part for me is definitely when I have all the girls at orientation. To this day, I am in awe when I hear all the different accents and dialects that are in one room. And it overwhelms me sometimes, where I think, I'm like, my gosh, these girls are here for my pageant, and wow, this one is speaking this, and this one is speaking that, and it's so amazing to me to see that, and to see our growth every year. That's probably, to me, one of the most, one of the best things about being an international director.
Yeah. Can I ask you, this might put you on the spot, what's your favorite accent?
My favorite accent?
If you can't answer that, that's fine.
Well, no, I mean, I would have to say that it would have to be all of them.
That's a very diplomatic answer. Can I ask you which is the hardest accent to understand?
Scottish.
I was going to say, is it Scottish? Because there's a lot of people.
Oh my God. They have multiple syllables for words that should only have one syllable. like girls. Girls is a 2-syllable word to them. It's gettles. And I'm like, what? Wait, what?
So basically you need your Scottish delegates to bring a translator, is what you're saying.
Sometimes.
You've got lots of just simply, we love you, we love you. She has a heart of gold. Always looking out for contestants and queens. Lauren Parkinson has written, I love Maria because she is like my mother. She opened up her home and her family to me with a love heart. Someone's written, Natalie Nicole Robinson has written, I love Galaxy because you can just be yourself. It doesn't matter about your size or how you look. Galaxy connects us all and we all become one. I love it. Thank you, Maria. Women empowering women.
Thank you.
Lauren Parkinson has then written, Deanna Silva, it's the pork roast and rice and beans. I don't know what that means.
So that means that I make really good rice and beans, and I have like the best pork roast ever, Adrian. Like, I make amazing pork roast and rice and beans, and they have had it. Every year when I do the Queen's Retreat, I cook for the girls, and that's where that comes in. And then Lauren's not been to, well, no, she did go to the Queen's Retreat last year because she helped out on staff last year, but she's been to my house, and I've cooked for Lauren as well. And she loves my cooking.
I do love rice and beans. Now I'm getting a flashback to actually Lauren in her interview. She did mention that you cooked. So you actually cook for them. You're not talking about getting food from somewhere. You actually cook for the girls.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to say, like, I love how you're all giving, like, Maria all this love. But if you have any questions, like, now would be the time. Because I'm scrolling,
ask me anything.
I'm going through these comments, and literally, you can look at them later, Maria. It's all they love you. She's the most amazing director. Someone else, Deanna Silva, has also written, and she makes the most amazing rice and beans for her queens. You've got a few people who are excited to see you, obviously, at the pageant. When is the international pageant? By the way, it's in about 3 or 4 weeks, isn't it?
Yes. So it's August 21st through the 25th. And we're leaving the 16th because we have our Queen's Retreat. So my international queens are flying in a little bit early, and we usually spend a few days together, and then we head over to the venue, to the resort, for the beginnings of internationals.
How are you feeling about it? I mean, obviously, as we said, it's almost 15 years of doing this. Is it sort of more organized now? You know, everything's going to run like clockwork. Do you still get a bit not excited, but nervous or anything like that?
So funny thing is that I don't think I get nervous, but my husband will beg to differ and say, your anxiety is at a different level when it's pageant time. So I'm going to say that I still get anxious, but that's because I always want everything to be perfect. Yeah. I'm a perfectionist, and I also do not like to not have control of things. So I'm a bit of a control freak. So yes. So as much as I would like to depend on other people, I make it very hard for them, for me, to let me depend on them. And but it's the same every year. I mean, there's something new to learn every year. As long as I've been doing this, because even with Belleza Latina since 2000, 19 years, every year I learn something new, or there's something I'm going to have to tweak next year, or like, oh, this happened this year, so now for the following year, I'm going to have to make sure that this, so that doesn't happen again. And so it's still fun for me. It's still exciting. Are there moments where I literally want to pull my hairs out and just say, you know what, I'm done?
Yeah.
Absolutely. To say no, I if anyone says that, they're lying. Because, there are days where, there are times where I have my heart in my throat because it's like, I'm hoping we have enough to cover everything. We're a little short, or, but it is what it is. I love it. I thrive on the excitement and all that there is, to do with, having the girls coming in and meeting them and watching them learn their opening number and all that good stuff. So I do like it.
Can I ask you, I don't know if it's possible to answer this, but what is your favorite pageant memory?
Wow. So I have several. As a contestant, my favorite pageant memory was when I did Teen USA, and we got to meet our host, which back then, don't laugh, please don't laugh. Back then, it was Lorenzo Lamas, who was just like everything. Okay.
He was quite the heartthrob, wasn't he?
Oh my God, he was the heartthrob. And here I am. I'm 17. Yep, I just turned 17. I'm like, So we all got to do a little one-on-one with him, and he's like, "Hi," and I said, "Hi," and after a couple little words exchanged, he said, "Oh, I noticed you have an accent," and I was like, "Oh, I do," and he was like, "You don't need to be ashamed of your accent."
Mm.
He said, "An accent lets other people know that you have knowledge of another language." And he said, "My nanny is Hispanic and my children are fluent in Spanish." And I know that he's half Latino because his father was. And when he said that to me, he just made me feel so much more confident in being Latina, being proud of my accent, and accepting the fact that I do speak another language and that it's okay if I sounded different from it, from the other girls. And then he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I didn't want to wash my face for like a week.
That's why that was your favorite memory.
That's exactly. But yeah, for sure. As as a 17-year-old, that was just so important to me, and I would have to say that that's probably one of the most, one of my favorite memories of pageantry.
And what about, from the flip side, what about as a director? I mean, that's got to be difficult as well. What's been your favorite moment as a director?
My favorite moment would have to be, and it's not like a one moment thing. It's almost like a ripple type moment where every year I get to add girls to my family.
Yeah.
My queens become family, so my family gets bigger. And there's some girls that will stay with you. There's some girls that will go their way after, which is completely fine. But the ones that stay are the ones that really matter. And I know we're true from day one. When the glitz and glam is over, when the curtains go down, when the lights go off, and they're still your friends, and they'll check on you, and we still text each other. We still text each other stupid comments or just silly memes, and that has to be the best.
Yeah. It really sounds like family is a huge part of the Galaxy system, and I think pageants always a reflection of the director. I mean, it's obviously family is important to you, so it's a very important part of Galaxy, which is lovely to hear. Maria, I'm just going to go back to the comments. I hope someone has actually asked questions. You're just getting lots of love, which I guess is a good thing. Maria, you look beautiful. You got hearts. Okay, so Lauren has asked. I think it's just basically Lauren having a conversation with you. She just, what is the one piece of advice you would give to someone wanting to be your queen? And that is one thing that I was going to ask as well. So thank you, Lauren, for asking that.
Here's what you should know if you want to be my queen is, do not come to this with false pretenses. Do not come to this being somebody you're not, because eventually your true colors do show. And I know that a lot of girls, I say it every year as well in orientation, you'll all love me today, but I promise you Saturday night, you're going to say I'm the worst director. You hate me. This is the worst pageant ever. All of those feelings are going to come to you. And you're going to forget how wonderful Maria is and how amazing of a director she is. You will forget all of that, and you will allow these feelings to take you over. And, and I always tell them, before you do that, run up to your room and go let it out in your room. Don't do it in public, because when you're done, you never know who heard you. You never know who listened. You never know what's going to get back to me. And if it gets back to me, and you decide you'd like to come back and compete, the answer is going to be no. I could take your money. I could take their money, but money's not everything to me.
Yeah.
Because when you start letting people like that into your system, it's very true when one rotten apple can spoil a bunch. So I don't want the girls to have to deal with that type of negativity. So to me, it's, coming into this, just be a good person. To be my queen, you need to be an honest, true person. That.
It sounds like such simple advice, but I know that you saw my video that I did when we had Miss World Australia here. And as I said, I was watching on the Instagram live stream. And there were people that I know, and they were people who had entered in Miss World previously. One of them was a queen, and just writing horrific comments when they saw that Sarah Marshke had won. One of them wrote WTF. One of them said, if Sarah wins, then it's rigged. And it's just horrible. I don't think that has any place in any aspect of life, but certainly not in pageantry. Because as you said, you just never know who's listening, who's watching, and these days especially, I'd assume that the walls have ears.
Exactly. And we've had girls that have literally walked off stage. We've had girls that have literally taken their sashes off, thrown them on the stage, stormed off during awards, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. Oh, we've had family members stand up in the middle of the audience and start swearing and all that good stuff. And it's unnecessary. For the love of God, people, at the end of the day, it really is just a pageant. I mean,
I'm so glad you said that.
It's just a pageant. We're not like curing cancer here. We're not, we're not solving the Middle East crisis or anything like that. It's a pageant. And if you start bringing all of that hostility, it's just, you're ruining it for all those girls that are there for the right reasons. And, we also have our young ones, my junior Miss divisions, they're usually there in the audience. I don't need my girls to hear that stuff. I don't need them to be around that type of commotion. Yeah. So it's tough. It's, control yourself and learn to control your families. I tell your families, if I don't win, just walk out. We'll talk about it in our room. We'll go have some drinks. We'll yell it out or what have you. But don't do anything, in public or make a scene, because at the end of the day, there's judges that had a hard decision to make. Exactly. You don't know what was the factor. You don't know what tipped that scale. So I don't know. I just, what I think would be a good idea, Adrian?
What's that?
I think that directors should be allowed to do a report card on contestants and share it with
and share it with who? Just say again, you cut out.
Other directors. Like if a director, if almost like a reference, like you're applying for another job and this boss is coming to me for a reference as to how you performed as a delegate. And I think if something like that took place, I think it might change the game a little bit.
I got to ask, in America, do directors talk to each other about certain contestants and basically ask for that report card? Because in Australia, that's not really a thing. The directors are very separate. But in America...
the directors here, I would say the directors here are not very chatty with each other, just because, again, they just have unless you're part of their system.
Sure.
But there are directors that do talk to each other. I know a few. So there's some of us that do talk to each other, and because I do support other systems. When girls, when my queens are done and they're looking for another system to enter, we want to make sure that they enter a really good system, that it has a good director. So I will recommend certain systems and what have you. But, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it's still a small world, whether you think so or not. Your reputation might precede you, and you should be careful at how you behave. And I know for a fact, I have contestants or know of contestants that have this reputation of like, ooh, girl, if she doesn't win, she's gonna throw a hissy fit. And it's like, oh, okay, great. So at least we're prepared for this one, type of thing. But I mean, yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly reputations get out, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go back to the comments again and see if I can find any questions for you, Maria. Gienema Kabi, I assume she...
Oh, Nima.
Okay, sorry. She has written, you nailed that Scottish accent, Maria. You got someone else commenting, she agreed she makes the best pernil and rice and beans. What's pernil?
Pernil is the Spanish word for pork roast.
I'm butchering all these, so I'm sorry about my pronunciation. Questions. Deanna Silva has asked, what's the most difficult part of being a director?
Finances. Everyone thinks that we're just like
rolling in money.
Oh, everyone thinks we're just rolling in money, cashing in, laughing all the way to the bank. I usually cry all the way to the bank. But I wish that sometimes people would take into consideration the expenses that it takes to put an event together. Yeah. Sound and lighting production in the thousands. I mean, my production usually runs between $7,000 to $10,000, depending what we're doing that year. My crowns are $1,000 a piece. Wow. That's 4 international queens. So, they're custom made. They're Swarovski. They're made here. They're very expensive crowns. All of that takes money, and I hate that I have to charge an entrance fee in order to cover our expenses. But hand to God, promise you when I say to you, if I cut myself a salary from this, I'm lying to you. I get paid because my husband works. And I have had people that tell me, then why would you do this if you're not making any money? Why would you do this if you're not making any money? I mean, I make a few bucks. Would I make more working part-time? Absolutely, yeah. I would make more. If I work 20 hours a week at another job, I would make a bigger check at the end of the year. But I'm blessed and I'm lucky enough that my system pays for itself. Yeah. It is self-sufficient. And it's enough for me to treat my queens to certain things, like a queen's retreat, their gift of the day, little surprises, pay for their airfares to come back, cover their rooms and so forth. So, it's lucrative in that aspect where I'm able to just put it back into the system, into my girls. But I don't care if I make a salary or not. Are there days where I tell myself, like, why do I do this? I don't even make money doing this. Of course. And there's like, I wish I made a really good paycheck this year. But seeing my girls, making appearances and how happy they are to just be a Galaxy queen, that's enough for me. That's a reward for me.
Ellie Corcoran has asked, where do you want the Galaxy system to be in 10 years?
I want to be the size of Miss Universe. Here's my goal. We've been getting a lot of international delegates lately. And my hope is that in 10 years, well, first of all, I'll be 61 years old, so I might be a little too old for this stuff. But maybe before then, Ellie, my goal would actually be to have a U.S. Galaxy pageant and then have the international outside of the United States.
Wow, okay.
So have our Galaxy International pageant, have it in an international country. That would be a dream for me.
That would be amazing. Okay, so some big goals there. Okay, so Edison Holmes has asked, what is the reason in America you decide to have judging take place on one night and then crowning in the next night? Just wondering, as it's not something that I'm used to hearing about in the UK.
Yeah. So those are what we called preliminaries, just like Miss USA does it, Miss Universe does it. It's always done. And the reason is because when you have a certain amount of contestants, you have to take the time for tabulation.
Yes.
Yes. So, it normally takes our auditor about 2 hours to get this done. And this year we have 50 contestants, 50 times 3 stage competitions times 6 to 8 judges.
That's a lot of scores that need to be put together. And to be fair, it's very important it's done correctly.
Exactly. And that's why we do prelims, because that night or the next day, depending on when the auditor gets there, they have to make sure, and then it has to be verified. So then I have to double check everything, make sure they understood the spreadsheet. And then if there's tie, we usually go back to the judges about the tie. So we just want to make sure it's done right. And then after that, everything has to be pulled out. So all the special awards have to be written down, and that takes time. We have to write down.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have interview, photogenic, swimwear, fashion, and evening gown. 5 awards times 4 divisions. So that's 20 awards. So you have to start getting all these, getting them all out. That takes time, and you want to make sure that everything is done right. I don't want any mishaps. And that allows us to avoid mistakes like crowning the wrong girl, and we've seen that happen.
Oh yeah. It's not a good look.
So that's the reason that we do preliminaries. It makes everything just so much easier for us to take that time to tabulate the scores. And then Saturday it's finals, and it's more of a production, it's more of a show, it's more of a showcase. And then we call out the top 5 and announce the winners and all that good stuff.
That makes perfect sense. I love the fact that you take getting it right so seriously, because I think that's obviously a very important part, and probably a little bit overlooked in amongst all the the glitz and the glamour.
We don't do it for Belleza Latina. Belleza Latina does not have prelim night or junior miss, because we have about 20 to 25 contestants. So we don't do it for that. But for Galaxy,
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Luz Marie Maldonado again. What are you looking forward to the most for this year's international pageant?
Probably the opening numbers. I'm excited to see the girls do their opening numbers. The Belleza Latina girls have this gorgeous gold dress.
Oh, wow.
The song that we have for them has been custom mixed for us by our sound guy, Arnoldo. And it even has a custom voiceover. And so it's customized for Belleza Latina.
Oh, wow.
Where it's even the words are in the song. So I'm super excited for that. And our little girls, the theme this year is really fun, denim and diamonds. So and they're dancing to a K-pop song.
I love
yeah,
it.
we're excited.
K-pop. Now, it does look like we've got a few questions here, maybe a lot. So, Maria, just for your sake, I'll get you to give short and prompt answers because otherwise you're going to be here until tomorrow.
Okay.
So, what is your biggest piece of advice for new directors?
Don't expect to make any money your first year or two, and put all your hard work into it, into promoting and making sure that you have a good pageant for your girls, for your contestants.
Perfect. Guillermo has asked, is it hard letting your international queens go after getting to know them for that year?
It's very hard. It's very hard. But like I said, a lot of us stay in touch and we stay family.
Yeah.
So it's not always goodbye forever.
Yeah. Perfect. Rachel Gallagher, what's your best advice for people who are new to pageants?
Do your research, and someone always has something to say about every system, whether it's good or bad. If you want to experience it for yourself, go ahead and do so, but do it with eyes wide open. But also look at the source it's coming from. If it's coming from a trusted friend who is warning you about a pageant, then I would take heed, especially if they've competed. Don't just go hearsay. Don't go by someone who you don't consider, a trusted friend. But yeah, just go for it. There's a pageant out there for everybody.
That's scary because that's almost the exact advice that I give people is you ask for advice, but it does depend on who the advice is coming from because some people have more experience and you know that some people are more trustworthy and will give you the honest truth. Edison has asked, and I don't know what this is about, but why did you decide to change the junior Miss crowns?
Because I just was not thrilled with our last one. I mean, it's cute and everything, but my goal is to make it similar to what the girls call the antlers, the Galaxy crown, those big peaks, they call them antlers. So I wanted like a miniature Galaxy International crown for the littles, and that's why I wanted it.
Tisha Savage has asked, what is one tip you would give a delegate who is competing in your pageant for the first time?
Don't be intimidated by girls who have done this before.
Right.
Just don't be intimidated. Everyone has something to bring to the table. You be you. You bring what you have to the table because you're just as good as anybody else. And enjoy the experience. Take in everything that we do at internationals, because one of the things that I like, about me, or the way that I run nationals, is that I try to make it as relaxed and as fun for the girls, so that they have time to get to know each other or relax and have a good time. Enjoy all of that, because you don't want at the end of the week, you don't want to say, wow, this was so not what I thought it would be. It's what you think of it. You need to make that experience a good and positive and memorable one, and take everything in and enjoy it so that you do have positive memories.
Absolutely. Mindy Bailey, hi, what do you suggest for your queens and their families when they are faced with family and friends at stereotype pageants and go as far as threatening? Gee, the threatening.
I don't know about what kind of threatening they're talking about. But first of all, that doesn't sound like a good situation. Like if you can get out of that situation, change your friends. Change your friends, and family is family, but you don't have to keep talking to your family if that's what they're doing. You do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, pageantry is fun. It's a sport. Like any other sport guys do it, like baseball, football, boxing. You know, I would never tell my son, like, you know, hey, get into boxing. It's amazing. Or, you know, when I see people that do it, I'm like, oh my God, like, what mother would want their child to get pounded to a pulp in a ring, you know, type of thing. But if it's what they want to do, they're going to do it. So if it's what you want to do, you go ahead and do it, and you do it to the best of your ability and do what makes you happy. And that's it.
Absolutely. Ruthie Jager, again, butchering pronunciation. What makes the Galaxy system stand out from any other system? That'll be a tough one.
Ooh, well, for sure, I have to say our crowns. Even though they've been knocked off a million times, when you see a Galaxy crown, you know it's a Galaxy crown. You don't need a stand. You see that crown, and you're like, that's a Galaxy queen right there. So that's what would make us stand out from others. But as far as personally wise, or just for as an experience. As an experience as a whole, what sets us apart is definitely going to be the way that you're treated when you come to internationals. You will see the difference of how welcoming we are, and just totally different vibe. And I pride myself in that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, girls can feel like they can be themselves and feel welcomed.
And that is a really huge thing. Again, we mentioned this briefly. That's something that I guess every pageant would say. They're not going to say when you come to our pageant, you'll feel miserable. But I have heard only good things about Galaxy internationally, and I've heard some horrific things about other systems internationally. So if you can go to a system and have a fantastic experience, regardless of whether you win or lose, and that, in my book, that's a huge plus. Danielle Latimer has asked, Maria is an expert runway coach. Will you be coaching in the UK in 2020?
Yes, I will, if you guys will have me again. So, yeah, I love that.
I don't think you have any shortage of supporters in the UK, between Lauren asking you about food and wanting to compete as a Latina. I think you got a second home in the UK by the sounds of it.
Oh, Lauren is she is like my prize student. She is definitely, oh my gosh, that's how we met, actually, with Runway training, and we just got really close, and she's worked really hard to perfect her walk. And it's just, definitely proud of her too.
Star pupil, Lauren, well done. Emily Egan, who's over here in Australia and competed in Galaxy this year, she's asked, what's your favorite section to watch personally?
Of my favorite part of competition?
Yes.
Fashion wear.
Fashion wear. Nice.
Yeah, I love fashion wear. I love seeing people's sense of style. And because I love to do runway, I like to see how a girl works her outfit on stage.
Speaking of working, and speak of the devil, Lauren has asked, runway tips, ?
Runway tips. No excessive twirling, no whipping about your train like a bullfighter.
This
no fake. Oh
God,
this one. Yeah, that. Please try to keep this to a minimum. The fake laugh is just, you know, yeah. Those are some tips.
It's funny because I've seen so much of it.
And if you can't walk in tippy tops, please don't wear them.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first. Edison has asked, do you have all your judges yet for this year?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we've got through to the end of the questions. Guys, if you have any questions, I don't want to keep Maria much longer because she's already been very generous with her time. So if you have any, quickly leave them below. But Maria, just before I let you go, we'll go through 10 questions for yourself because I always end interviews with the same 10 questions. And it'd be fun to see how a director answers them. So here we go. Number 1, what is your favorite word? I don't know what that response means. Is it something you can't say?
Yeah, it's a 4-letter word.
Oh. Okay. I knew what that response meant as soon as I saw it. Okay. Well, we'll let our imaginations wander. Number 2, what is your least favorite word?
Oh, it's another 4-letter word. I never use it. Ever.
I'm taking guesses in my head right now, but I'll ask you.
I can tell you what letter it starts with.
I'm going to guess that it starts with C.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Got it in one. Okay. Question 3. In life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
A good sale.
Any favorite store? Particular favorite store?
Yes. I don't have one down here in the valley. It's Nordstrom's or Nordstrom Rack, but now it would have to be like TJ Maxx.
Nice.
Which is the equivalent. I think you guys, do you have a TK Maxx?
I think we're starting to get them. I think they're just coming in.
Okay. In the UK, they're called TK Maxx. Here, they're TJ Maxx.
Right. Okay. TJ. That's confusing. Question 4. What turns you off?
Fake people.
That's enough said right there. Let's move on. Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Probably the sound of my cat purring.
You have a cat as well. I saw your dog earlier. You have a cat as well.
I have 3 dogs and a cat.
Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
The noise that I hate. There's a couple. The sound of like someone like scratching on a blackboard. That I can't stand that.
Got that one.
Yeah, and the sound of my dog Arceus barking every time somebody rings the doorbell.
Okay. What did you say your dog's name is?
Arceus.
You know that in Australia we say ass as us, right?
Yeah.
So just when you said that, I was like, that's an unusual name.
So his name is supposedly supposed to be pronounced Arceus, which is a Pokemon god. That's my daughter named him that.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Question 7. We've got 10. We're up to number 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
My gosh. And I am a superhero freak.
You got a lot to choose from then.
I love superhero stuff. If I could have one superpower, it would definitely have to be like super strength. Like I would like to be like strong, really strong, be able to just pound the hell out of anything.
And any particular reason why, or any particular thing you want to pound?
I'd like to be able to flick a few people out of existence. No, I'm just kidding.
You mean snap or flick?
No, but yeah, that I would love to be like super strong.
We should. I've never heard of a pageant girl who loves superheroes so much. We should get you, because you're so gold in the background.
Oh my gosh!
Should get you, the Infinity Gauntlet all decked out with the jewels on it, and then you can go around just.
I have it. It's in my husband's office.
You've got everything. I'm so jealous. Okay, question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Party planner.
I bet you'd be really good at that.
Parties together. I love decorating, so I would love to do that. I would like to do that.
Okay. Question 9. What job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Babysitter or housekeeper.
I can see that. Let's go to the final question, Maria. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
I like that. That's nice. That's lovely. I'll just ask one more question and then I'll let you go. Rachel Gallagher has asked, how do you choose judges?
So for judges, I kind of like to pick a mix of a panel. I usually like to have former queens because they know what I'm looking for. Some people in the industry and some that are not. I don't always get lucky enough to have somebody not in the industry. And I know that there's some people that have their own opinion as to like, well, why would you pick this type of person to be a judge? They don't know anything about pageantry and what have you. Let me explain to you what a person who does not know anything about pageantry has to bring to the table. That person has a different set of eyes that I like to see girls through. They have a different vision of what they consider a queen. They have no preconceived notions. They don't know McDougal from Giovanni from Sherry Hill. They don't know, they are looking at the girl as a regular girl.
Exactly.
They're not looking at her with this preconceived notion of what a beauty queen should be, which is why I like somebody like that on the panel to just kind of balance, it's like a balance of power. Sometimes you have judges that are so involved in the industry that no matter how many times you tell them, I don't care what your favorite color is. If a girl has a blue dress, you don't score her low because you don't like blue, or you don't score her evening gown low because you're like, oh my God, that is so 4 years ago, Giovanni. Like, I don't care. I care about whether she walked well, it fit her well, she was confident, she moved well. That's what I care about. I don't care who made her dress. I don't care about that stuff. And when you have somebody who does not know anything about that stuff, all they're going to look for is that, like, wow, that looks really good on her. Oh, she walks so confident. She's so elegant. She's so poised. They look at that. Experienced judges, yes, look for technique and all that good stuff as well. But sometimes they get in their own way where they're looking for a specific thing. So those are what I usually look for. I look for judges that, really have the best interest of the system at heart as well. So they are oriented. I tell them, please, don't confuse us with any other system. This is what we're looking for. We don't have a stereotype. This is what you're judging when you're looking at my girls. So, and if I don't like the way that they judge, or if they ask questions that I don't think are appropriate, they'll be asked to judge again.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think that makes perfect sense. Maria, is there anyone, just before we wrap up, that you want to give thanks to or shout out to?
I just want to give a shout out to all of my directors and all of the contestants. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. I hope you are all excited. We have so many girls coming from far away. I mean, from India, Portugal, Australia, New Zealand. We have super excited. And I really hope that you have an amazing time in Orlando. And I can't wait to see everybody. And thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work. Thank all my directors. And I love you all, too.
Perfect. Well, Maria, I'll just keep you on the line for a little bit longer once we hang up on the live. But thank you so much for your time. And
thank you so much, Adrian. I'm so honored that you asked me to do this interview. And I loved it. Thank you for the opportunity. And I hope we do it again.
Well, as I don't know if you know, but you're the first director that I've interviewed. And it wasn't a hard choice for me because I interview people not based on how big their following is, but based on their quality of character. So, and I got to say, like, I think I guessed right, because just with all the comments here, and you can read them afterwards, Maria, you're going to have to scroll through pages and pages of people who love you. And I know that everyone has lovers, everyone has haters, but to have that amount of respect as well as love, I think that says a lot about you. So I appreciate your kind words, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And as I said, I'll just keep it a bit longer, but I'll hang up on the live now, and we'll speak to you guys again very soon. Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop, and connect with us on social at the Pageant Project. Speak to you next.